and welcome back. We are here at the May League Cup. I am Solex Cross, and I'm joined here by my boy right here, Jared, right now. And we are here in top 8. Boy, we're here to get it.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And we're going into a matchup that we definitely have not seen in this tournament yet.
So far.
So we're going into a Miraidon Ho-Oh team that is coming up against a Lunala and Koraidon Trick Room Ursaluna type team. Looking on here for Brian McQueen right here. Iron Bundle, Iron Treads, and Iron Hands. This is the Violet team over here. Not to mention Ho-Oh tracking down there with Clear, Amulet, Brave Bird, Sacred Fire, Tailwind. A little bit of like a support slash heavy hitter down there. And then obviously the Fridge rounding up team. Anti-priority, Trick Room setting, Helping Hand, nice support mon there as well.
Yes, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the Gen 2's legendary of epic proportions Ho-Oh here. Of course, it brings around Tailwind with that Brave Bird and Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire being one of my most favorite moves from that generation. Man, I love Gen 2. I'm a big fan.
It's so
but
messed up.
let's talk a little bit about June and what she's bringing to the table today.
Yeah, also on a insanely good run right now, June pulling up with the Lunala and Koraidon team. A lot of damage coming out of that. Obviously, it's a little bit of the basic Koraidon set, having the Life Orb over there with Protect, Close Combat, Flare Blitz, and Flame Charge. No Dragon move needed on a Koraidon here. Pulling up as well. Ogerpon Cornerstone, one of my personal favorite Pokemons, my personal favorite form to use, and then a couple of the little stragglers of the previous regulation big hitters that aren't really seen as much. They're definitely still seen, but a little bit less so. Ursaluna regular form from Hisui being one of them, and then Annihilate down there with that Choice Scarf and Final Gambit being another.
Gotta say, I really like the Ursaluna being taken into consideration here because it's just such a powerful Pokemon, and I think it's really positioned well in the current environment of this meta. It just does so much damage with those facades, and of course just having the inability to ignore statuses thanks to Guts and the Flame Orb. It's just such a powerful combination to use at any point in time, and never sleep on the bear, even though they be sleeping all the time.
Absolutely. And obviously Incineroar still in here. A little bit of a different Terra in there. I believe it's Terra Fairy over there as well. We've seen a couple of different Terras for Incineroar throughout this day, and obviously you really just kind of like using what you like using with Incineroar. There's almost no truly bad Terra for it, especially if there is some certain calculation or certain moment that June has anticipated, maybe needing the Fairy typing to come out instead of like Ghost or Grass or Water or anything like that.
I actually kind of like that these two teams are kind of similar to some really interesting people in the community, from Wolf Glick with the Flame Blitz and the Life Orb on the Koraidons, and of course our good friend PokeMMD with the Ho-Oh team that did so well in that tournament too. I just love the inspiration and how we all inspire each other in this community of Pokemon, and we just get some really good teams and matches out of it.
Yeah, a lot of it is also just building off each other, and that's what I've definitely found as somebody who is a little bit still a newbie to the New England VGC community, is that this place is so tight-knit.
Yes,
it's
sir,
full of
yes,
people
sir.
who help each other out, who talk to each other outside of the game, and then when it comes to the game, help each other figure out what they want to possibly compete in Worlds, with a couple people here today are trying to go do.
It's always about learning, building community, and being nice to each other in a really nice, well-knit community. But now, it looks like we're getting into the game, so let's go on and transition to that so we can get some action started.
Here we go. Benny and Linty out here in Top Cut round 1. It's June Lintner versus Brian McQueen of our first round.
June Lintner, Apex build, by the way.
Apex build. Sorry.
Apex build.
Must add Apex build. Apex build.
You say the whole name, not just how it is. Let me stop. But yeah, this is a pretty strong start here. Why not just commands presence and aura the second it hits the screen? But to circumvent that, we have another heavy hitter, and I'm not talking about that Lunala. I'm talking about that Incineroar, baby, that fake out, providing that pressure, allowing us to do a little tricky maneuver with our very powerful Lunala over here.
Yeah, and here's where Iron Treads really loves being in a weird position against Lunala because of Knockoff specifically. Knockoff obviously does quad damage on super effective hit. obviously, then Steel Roller. If you read that Terra, then she is going. Then her team could just get absolutely eviscerated here.
Yeah, it could be really bad, but we do see our boost happening and taking effect as the seed tims and there's the fake out, but Armor Tail will deny it. Good switch out here, now denying a little bit of damage and a big knockoff into this model. There's no more leftovers there to get that HP back, but let's go ahead and see what Lunala decides to do. It's going to be that Trick Room. Makes the most amount of sense since it was the last thing to move out here.
A lot of people love Lunala specifically for that bulk, and that is obviously something that June has taken into account with her team. Lunala obviously taking quad damage on that knockoff, but didn't even take half the HP.
Yeah, but it might take a lot more in this upcoming turn now that that ability is turned off. We're going to have to see how they manage the rest of this HP on Lunala. We do have Trick Room up, so we might actually be the slowest thing out here, but again, we're looking at Iron Treads. Is it faster? Is it slower? Who knows?
Iron Treads is probably built quick. Its speed stat is still solid. It's
Yes.
not. It's definitely not one that you're expecting to outrun everything. But especially with a Cork Drive, there's potential. I didn't see which one it was when it first came out. Pay attention for the next one. But if it's speed, then absolutely it's probably the last in line.
And there goes a big U-turn into the Farigiraf. Just getting in some positioning done here now that we have Trick Room up. Gonna go ahead and bring in the back. Who do we have coming out? It looks like it's gonna be... Oh, Lunala, welcome back. Reposition is very interesting. We're gonna dodge the foul play here. But get the knockoff in the opposite slot. Oh, no way. How did you know?
And
that's insanity.
And just like you called, the knockoff did enough damage on that second one. Shadow Shield not being able to take anything afterwards, and a fantastic read to put knockoff into that second slot.
Hey, but now we got an Angry Bear in position with that Flame Orb about to trigger at the end of the turn, and Fake Out support to boot. Oh wait, but there's no Fake Out because Armor Tail is going to deny any priority.
Absolutely. I do believe that means that that Ursaluna is going to be the first in the team, depending on how EVs obviously are and how other things are trained here. But most likely, Ursaluna is going to be smacking something with a huge facade, a huge headlong rush, or potentially an earthquake, because you could take a lot of damage on Farigiraf and absolutely hit a KO on Iron Treads there.
Yeah, we didn't quite yet see Terrestrialization, so that could come into play here as well.
Yeah, still hovering over the Steel Roller. Wanted to maybe get a lot of damage in here. Brian still making a little decision, a couple seconds left on the clock, and does go for the Steel Roller into that side. Facade coming out to Farigiraf and taking the Farigiraf down. Down goes another Pokemon on the side of, or sorry, the first Pokemon on the side of Brian McLean. Over here, June grabbing his first one. The knockoff comes out and takes off the Life Orb, so that extra damage is not quite coming, but the high horsepower is going to connect. Only about doing a third, though.
It's probably because of that really powerful ability in the form of Intimidate. We did get a couple of drops here, so that was going to do a surprising amount of damage in the least. But now, coming in, we have Iron Heads with Fake Out support online this time, because there is no Armor Tail in play, which means we can do some pretty sneaky things coming out.
Yeah, you really have to play this defensively if you are June, and it looks like Brian has already opted to start pulling that Terrasilize forward. The bug Terrasilize in this situation most likely will at least lead you to some sort of KO, because you're slower than Incineroar and Trick Room. If you Terra to Bug, the only thing that does the most damage, the only thing that does a ton of damage to you is obviously the Facade. But if you want to get max amount of damage, kind of a little bit more risky, but pulling that Earthquake in that situation, getting rid of the Iron Treads, absolutely at this point, and doing a good amount of damage to Iron Hands, pretty decent risk to take if you were able to get away from the Terra, but Terra is coming.
Well, the thing that's scary about it is that we could get Flare Blitz from this Incineroar, but I don't know if that's the move that they'll be pushing this time around. Maybe they're going to be worried about something else. But let's go ahead and see what leads from this Terrestrialization of the bug form. Iron Hands now flaunting its new hat.
I'm really interested to see, I believe, depending on how this Iron Hands is trained, it could be faster, it could be slower than Ursaluna. Ursaluna going with, and then June pulling out her Terrestrialization as well, going straight onto Ursaluna there, alleviating any kind of those fighting type support moves. But the Wild Charge comes through! A fantastic read to put the electric move onto Ursaluna instead of opting for those fighting moves that make Iron Hands so dangerous in this format, and takes down that bear.
Oh, good call here. Double lead, too, because we did predict this U-turn coming out. Going to take even less damage than usual now that it was a resistant hit. But that Incineroar will be coming back into play with that Intimidating ability, so that could be a little scary.
There is Ogerpon taking that high horsepower, but Iron Treads is a little bit underpowered at the moment, has not switched out since getting hit with those Intimidates, and here comes another one in there to take on both of those physical attackers. And Iron Treads does not have basically any spoons left for this one.
No, not at all. At this point, I think you leave it in there to be sacked, because why would you switch in your Miraidon into 2 outcoming attacks? You could switch it out and try to preserve the Iron Treads, but is that really what you want to do? Probably get some chip damage out of it, make it do something before it fades. No. You could also preserve it and, maintain that Pokemon for a little while. I think you're also both faster than these Pokemon that are out on the opponent's side of the field too, so you could use that to your advantage.
Yeah, so it looks like that Brian is considering the double into this Incineroar over here and does commit to it. The spiky shield comes out, and it looks like June might have potentially been red here, depending on how fast. And then the fake out does go into Daddy Hands over there, and is going to take this high horsepower. Oh, was that a critical hit?
Oh, yes,
no!
I better be quiet.
Unbelievable. A little bit unlucky there for June, because that is the only way that high horsepower would have picked up that KO, is by getting the complete ignoring of stats from the critical hit. And now all that's left is a girl, her Cudgel, and the oncoming slaughter that is these 2 Pokemon ready.
Yeah, we still got a Miraidon in the back, and don't forget, Trick Room has been expired already. I think this is a good time to hit that run button. What do you think?
Probably, but if you let it play out, why not?
I mean, you already know all their moves. You have information.
Yeah.
There's no point in playing this out. I think we're good. Oh, we're going in. All right.
Ivy Cudgel. And
bonk. Okay, hey, super effective hit. That's a knockout on a bug, right?
Well, we also need to remember that the Iron Treads is still weakened. It's still on a very, that did not do a lot of damage, and the only thing left is Miraidon, who doesn't have a super effective hit, if I see in here, but most likely is going to be faster if Trick Room is not active anymore. And unless you get that critical hit on Ivy Cudgel, you're most likely not getting a KO onto this Miraidon.
You do have that grass typing too, so you do kind of resist these electric attacks.
But
it's a Miraidon. It's a Miraidon. I don't know. It's too powerful.
I very much agree. Going for another high horsepower. Is this Iron Treads Bandit? No, he's Life Orb. I'm surprised that we haven't gone with Steel Roller yet, but does not matter. Down goes Ogerpon, and Brian McQueen takes game number 1 over here.
Still worth to get a little bit of that information, see how they handle the situation, see what moves they would go for. Can we get into the mindset a little bit, make up those decisions in the game too, and try to make some changes? I think that's pretty good.
Exactly. I mean, I guess you also can consider it of, well, my Iron Treads has been intimidated 4 times, so why don't we do the damage and see how much it does? So if I need to keep Iron Treads inside in the field, then I will be able to just, oh my god, is that Iron Treads' speed?
Yeah, Iron Treads
106?
106.
It's actually a pretty good. That's a pretty good speed. That's a
That's
pretty
a
good
good
speed
speed
stat.
stat.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid speed stat. But testing out how far the high horsepowers can go in neutral damages and how far they can go while being at -4.
It's interesting to think about for sure. As we are locking in the Pokemon for this upcoming round, take a little bit of time at the selection screen, gonna decide what it is we want here. Again, let's take a look at these teams, right? Ryan over here, rocking his Miraidon team as per usual. It's got choice specs on it, which is the main reason why I was thinking that Ogerpon didn't really stand much of a chance. It's just too much damage coming out of that Pokemon. There's an electric giant.
The thing is, it's emitting damage without even doing anything. Like, it's just so much.
It's
like
stairs
choice
medicine.
specs and hard. What's it? Hadron Engine, I think is what it's
Yeah,
called. It's
yeah,
just so powerful.
It's too much. It's a great Pokemon. It's just does everything you want it to do. And I find it so funny that people originally were, not really thinking about Miraidon or Koraidon initially, right? And then Miraidon soared in usage, and then people were like, oh, Koraidon's the one that's not good. And then
Koraidon soared in usage.
Soared in usage. Yeah,
It literally went back and forth with people being like, "Oh, well, I like my Generation 3 Sunsetter," and then it's like, "Well, well, what if your Generation 3 Sunsetter had a boost to his to their physical attack
Yeah, sure. A boost of special
and Flame Charge?"
And Flame Charge, too. Yeah, this is really good. Give it a Life Orb and you're cooking.
There we go. Into game 2, June has opted to pull out the Orichalcum Pulse, Koraidon, and Ogerpon on the field. And a lot of Ogerpon cornerstone we've seen today have kind of been leads to be sack leads. A lot of the time, just wanting to make sure that something on the side of the teammate of Cornerstone gets whatever it wants up.
I gotta say, I really, really love this adjustment here. What has to happen here for Lindsay is that they have to go for a Flame Charge or a really powerful attack into Farigiraf and knock it out before Trick Room happens. And of course, to cover that, we have sturdy user Ogerpon that can follow me and redirect any attacks that would be detrimental to this Koraidon. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Do you see the terrestrialization into that fire typing now? That's going to give you a massive boost to these fire type attacks. Is Flame Charge going to be enough to one-hit knockout and just completely run away with this game with that absolute insane speed stat?
But on the other side, the water terrestrialization has come out, and that's a nice little read there from Brian, because in reality, you really don't want to risk the Ogerpon hitting you with Ivy Cudgel for that critical hit damage, especially if there is a little bit of extra that you can take from the Koraidon. Volt Switch is going to come out, take Ogerpon to about half HP right there. You're probably not going to be able to get that KO on Farigiraf here, especially if you used a fire move here.
Yeah.
But at least it does a little bit of chip, but this is a very, very solid play from Brian.
If this Farigiraf withstands this attack, it will be able to use that Trick Room. It's going to be a devastating playing field to play under. Here comes the Flame Charge into the other slot. Whoa, what a choice. Not quite a knockout here, but a significant portion of damage. And now here comes the Trick Room. That speed is going to be a detriment now all of a sudden. Fake Out also in play. It's not looking too good, but at the same time, does Farigiraf really instill the amount of fear into somebody that it should? Like, probably not, but that Iron
The foul
Hands, though.
play.
Yeah,
The foul play, however, is a dangerous thing to be in this situation for a Koraidon player, because you are already getting your attack boosted really, really high, and then you have now gotten rid of that resistance to your to dark type moves. However, Ogerpon, very nice spiky shield in there, getting rid of any sort of Drain Punch. Actually, double there, getting rid of the Fake Out support, and now only having to deal with Drain Punch in the next turn. But Iron Hands is going to love getting some of that HP back that it just tanked from that Flame Charge.
Yes, now Farigiraf rightfully went for the Psychic into that Ogerpon slot, not going to take any damage using Foul Play into a spiky shield, which is exactly the right play you wanted for that situation. But now is a situation for Lindy. So what do? Do you switch out? Do you stay in? We follow me again, okay? And now, will this be the opportunity that we need to go ahead and take out one of these two Pokemon? You lose Ogerpon for it, sure. It's going to gain back a decent amount of HP, but we can actually finish this thing off.
Down goes Ogerpon, and the Follow Me probably did enough of its job, but it looked like it was going to be the Drain Punch going into Ogerpon regardless. This foul play not doing that much damage either.
What?
The close combat coming straight out, and Iron Hands goes down.
Whoa, Trick Room, what's that? I can play the game still. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
Wow.
my boosted speed Koraidon loves being in Trick Room.
Loves being in Trick Room. I can do the damage all I want. Who's
Yeah.
worried about nothing?
And so now we see now that there's a little bit of a discrepancy here of, do I toss in my Miraidon and deal with whatever is thrown into the next Trick Room and the next side from June, because she's played this very, very well. Because if she has that Ursaluna still on deck, you pull in Ursaluna here, and just like this, you have a Pokemon that significantly underspeeds Miraidon. Definitely probably does not have that much of a threat from even the foul play on Farigiraf. And you're put yourself in a very, very solid position. This is a fantastic play from June.
Now this is important. This Ursaluna is not yet burned, so it's not getting that guts boost that is so rightfully wanted. We might actually see a protect coming for this Koraidon here. Maybe even Ursaluna. We might even see the double protect. But hey, Trick Room is still here, and we might see a big attack coming out of that Ursaluna on the following turn.
And what that also tells me, what that would probably tell me if I were June, is also that Iron Treads is in fact trained to get the Court Drive boost for speed. Because if you were over, because at that point you get a double speed, correct? So, or sorry, times 1.5 speed. So you are very close to outspeeding that Miraidon, depending on how that Miraidon is trained as well. The Headlong Rush is going to take it down, though. Miraidon going down to a beautiful, beautiful play from June again.
Do we forget that June doesn't play well? To be fair, Miraidon doesn't have protection, doesn't have time to defend himself in that situation. But we reverse the Trick Room now. Well, hey, focus. Wow, my face went. Fake Out is not in play here. So it's not like we have to worry about that. And reversing the Trick Room is a good thing for this Iron Hands. But the situation is still not better for you because Ursaluna is looking quite healthy and now just got its burn boosted.
Yeah, and there's also no fake out pressure right now because Farigiraf is obviously on the field. Helping Hand is going to come out from Farigiraf, hopefully to get as much damage possible into both of June's Pokemon. But even then, I'm not sure if even with the Life Orb boost, even with the stab, that the spread move from the spread damage from Earthquake is going to be able to secure both of these KOs here.
In fact, it's just going to make it easier to take out your own Pokemon too. Here comes the damage. Ooh,
my goodness!
Survival.
Oh my goodness! I cannot believe that. Just not enough. So close. But it looks like the combo of Incineroar and Ursaluna are going to come through here, grab this Headlong Rush, and down goes Brian for, I believe, that's a June secure on this game to win.
And lives are on the line as we go into a Game 3 situation. Do we want to keep playing the game or are we done? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, like, just fantastic moves from June in there. She used, again, she uses Trick Room in such a great way for her team, and almost is always a step ahead, because she had the plan for, if I leave my Mon in, it's going to do a good amount of damage, it's going to be a problem. If that Mon gets knocked out, whatever comes back in is then going to be a problem, is then going to do a lot of damage, and just like Ursaluna right there, it was so threatening, even without the Guts boost, because Miraidon had to come in that situation.
Miraidon just was positioned so well in that Trick Room, too. It just didn't care. It was able to take those hits and dish out twice as much damage, even under those circumstances. It was just a great call to switch up to those leads, and I really want to see them come back again.
I think the thing that I see a lot in players who are very, very extremely good at the game, I try to be more like, you know, creative with it, but no, yeah, just ones that are good at the game, is that they won't feel that kind of pressure to get rid of a Pokemon that is on their side that may or may not be a play that they didn't mean for Trick Room to have. Right. So like if they get that speed boost and the Pokemon's still in a good position, they'll be able to leave it as pressure, as a threat if they just get ignored, or if they're trying to read and double into something that Pokemon resists, then you still have a lot of value out of it. It's a really good mind game to be able to use that situation for yourself.
I gotta say, I didn't mind Brian's first picks in that first game either. I think the team was solid choosing. I like the 4. You just have to outmaneuver Lindsay a little bit better and try to make that work for you, your position a little bit better. But again, I do see the lead that I liked in that first game, and now we do see adjustments.
Bundle.
Look at the bundle.
Santa.
Santa's on the board.
Hey.
Oh, we all love Santa.
What is it? June? May? I don't know. We're months away from
Every
this.
day is Santa Day.
Yeah. Well, Iron Bundle is a Pokemon that has definitely had its heyday. I remember when it was a very much like I hate this thing from a lot of players, but has kind of had a little bit of a less presence, but definitely is important here because it has that Icy Wind support that a lot of the speed ties in this format are really important, and Icy Wind is a great way to deter that.
I love that it would just effectively neutralize a flame charge as well. So I kind of like just bringing in the bundle as a wild card in this game 3. Spiky Shield, double shielding up of Killers. Just want to gather that information, see what it is my opponent's trying to do. Obviously, the Icy Wind is coming. We knew that. Is it the Volt Switch or is it something else coming out from Rhydon is what's key to us here.
Yeah, I mean, it also could be important that if you... Yeah, so it's gonna. It was the Volt Switch, but if you committed to like a Draco Meteor there, almost instantly, that means that Koraidon was probably Terra Egg, or Miraidon had to switch out. So going with the Volt Switch to be a little bit more safe, probably the better move in the long run as well.
Okay, I do like the idea of going for a Flame Charge still to try to mitigate this Icy Wind situation, but the Volt Switch is also going to deal a ton of damage to Koraidon, so it's not looking too great, but I don't expect, unless a critical hit happens or something of the sort, I don't expect a knockout to come on into this upcoming turn. So Icy Wind goes into those spots that will remove the sash. That did way more damage than I expected it to.
Wow, yeah, that halved both Pokemon.
Wow, and that's one knockout. Okay, I guess I'm just wrong. A knockout on turn.
She's just a girl. Leave her alone. And Ogerpon going down to a combination of Icy Wind and Volt Switch from Brian McQueen over here, and then instantly popping into that Iron Hands, who is most likely going to be a much easier recipient of the attack if it comes towards that direction.
The Flame Charge, as predicted, just to maintain that speed stat highly as possible. It is very important to make sure that this is a strong and fast Pokemon at all times, but it's just not going to be faster than the bundle.
I think Iron Bundle has like one some semi-ridiculous. Yeah, why is its base defense 114?
Why is it?
I don't know. It has like its special defense is its like kind of dump stat, which a lot of the Paradox Pokemon have, and you can see it right there. It just tanked a neutral Flame Charge from a Orichalcum boosted Koraidon over here.
Well, we didn't Terra, so I think that's what it is. We didn't Terra into the fire typing and get that big move in there.
Yeah, so it also didn't boost it to that base 60 that has to be the requirement for it to be a Terra move in the game, but protecting straight out. Encore going into the protect, but unable to secure that there. Lunala is still up here. Moonblast coming out into the Iron Hands, doing a
decent chunk.
About a third here. Low kick, not able to connect as well. A nice little protect in there. Iron Hands at this HP amount is maybe at a potential risk of getting KO'd here.
Well, we don't want to get Encored, so I do predict Koraidon coming out because getting Encored into Protect is not fun. It's not a healthy life decision, I even would say it myself. But we could theoretically see a switch out for Koraidon into whatever it is in the back as we see it now.
Oh, here we go. Brian did call that out with an Encore and a low kick into it, so Teddy is going to be tanking this low kick from Iron Hands, who still has Cork Drive up, so that attack might be even more. June is going to pull out that Terrestrialization onto Lunala, the Fairy type. I think she looks very pretty with this.
Very good look.
Yeah, this is a good look for her. And on the other side, the bug.
Here's my problem. Yeah, we're going to take a low kick. I don't know if it will be able to withstand it. I could see even Trickling coming out this turn, but would Lunala be able to take out this Iron Bundle? Do you even want it to? And there goes the Encore. It will fail.
Potentially. I mean, there still is an... Yeah, there's still an unknown Pokemon here.
That's not a two-hit knockout
Not enough
still.
yet still. There's the low kick, and how much is that going to do? It's going to do an one-hit KO over here. And down goes Teddy, and Teddy has been the recipient of a couple of huge hits. Some big reads from Brian McQueen.
Now here's another issue now I'm having. This Iron Bundle is in full control of this game. We already saw how much damage that Icy Wind did, and you already locked in your terrestrialization into Lunala. It's going to do a big amount of damage. It might even knock out our Pokemon here.
Absolutely. I mean, this Iron Bundle was an absolutely fantastic choice from Brian to bring in. It has controlled the speed for the entirety of the game, especially with its Quark Drive still active because of the electric terrain as well. And nice little wide guard incoming here, but the Iron Bundle has been a absolute behemoth in that small little body, but a nice little flame charge in there as well. That's another one of those extra hits in there. You still outspeed that Iron Bundle in your statistics, but with the boost, you now with both boosts, Koraidon is the faster Pokemon now.
His name is Barry Allen. He's the fastest thing alive.
Fastest thing alive.
Yes, sir. It's going to be outspeeding everything now.
Yeah, and
this is the position that June was looking for.
yeah, and especially now because that Lunala is still untouched now. That Shadow Shield is still in here. You most likely might take an Icy Wind. You can't even take the Icy Wind here because most likely Koraidon's going to outspeed Iron Bundle here. So you're going to have to hit into that without the support of Iron Bundle.
It's a very tricky position to be in. Yes, you have that speed now, but what do you do with it? How do you affect this match in the outcome of your desire?
And Hydro Pump being hovered a little
Lock
bit.
it in.
Encore over there.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Keep doing that move over
Come
there.
on.
Go
And
ahead.
right into that Moonblast again. So preventing any kind of Trick Room from going up. Protect comes out from Koraidon. I think that was trying to be a speed check just to see if your Protect would go first instead of the Iron Bundles if it protected itself. But incoming the Electro Drift did a little bit less than half damage.
Wide guard coming out again. That's just not going to be what you want right now. But it does deny Icy Wind on the following turn. But now we can safely double into Koraidon and try to position ourselves for a win here. Unless we click Hydro Pump and miss.
Yeah, Koraidon still is in the position where you are still at a huge danger. Whoa.
Wait, but you're
Just
faster.
giving up?
No. Are you not faster than a bundle after +1 speed? You can get an
I'm not
attack.
sure. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit surprised by that run. I guess we have to look at the numbers again, but Iron Bundle doesn't outspeed a plus. It does? In Quark?
Dang, that's crazy.
Incoming Gerd. Incoming Andrew Gerd. If he could put the mic on.
Hello, it is the voice of Gerd.
Yeah.
So Iron Bundle is base 136. Koraidon is base 135.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Flame Charge at +1 would make it faster than the, assuming it's max speed, right? And
Yeah.
Jolly.
Yeah.
Koraidon +1 cannot outspeed Bundle at +1 because
he
it has the Quark
+1.
Drive.
Yeah. The
So-
Quark Drive. Yeah. Okay.
Because it's Quark Drive, the Bundle, assuming it's max speed and
Is
Quark
too
Drive
fast.
boosted, is 1 point faster than any Koraidon ever could be at +1.
Ah.
So the Encore play or whatever you want into the Koraidon is always guaranteed at that point.
I see.
Unless like something else is going on.
Yeah.
So that's why like protecting Koraidon was, I mean, what else can you do? You
Yeah.
protect there, you're always getting hit by Encore
Yeah.
again.
Okay, so I don't know why I was under the misconception, because I feel like I should have known that, but I was under the misconception that all the paradoxes were either like just slower, like by barely a few points, than the two box legendaries.
No, Bundle is the one Pokemon that's
Yeah.
faster than
Yeah,
everything.
It's the bundle.
Only Flutter made its speed time with the
Yeah,
box art
yeah.
legendaries, and Valiant is just barely slower.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's actually like quite slower.
Yeah.
My thought process is I used to so rarely see Quark Drive actually active.
No, literally. Like, photosynthesis is such a better ability because of Sun, but the one time where Miraidon is, like, actually amazing is the one time you ever see, like, 3 Quark Drive Pokemon on the field at the same time.
That's true.
I might have to use this team. I was using Iron Treads for a while, and that team looked pretty good.
Like, if you watch, like, Milwaukee Regionals or Utrecht, you're probably seeing Iron Hands, Iron Valiant, Iron Treads, and Iron Bud all getting Quark Drive boosted at one time on the stream, and you're like, this ability existed at some point? Like,
Oh,
literally.
this is real. Oh, wow.
Pokemon Violet fans finally winning.
I told you the right game, guys. People, like, Koraidon's still good, but I'm glad I decided to stick to my guts. Who cares about, like, all the other regulations? Now I'm winning with Miraidon.
I like robots.
Literally.
Wow, whatever the case.
right.
We're going to be coming back real shortly, really soon with the next round in our top 8. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.